Hello and welcome back to Alex FPL. Today we're looking at upcoming transfer plans for Game Week 2, starting with the most bought and sold this week. We're covering Ekitike, Semenyo, Wirtz, Ballard, Reijnders, Pedro and Wirtz. Then we're moving on to the Salah versus Haaland debate and can we own both of them? Then we'll be talking about final thoughts like early transfers in FPL, whether we should be taking hits, etc. So let's get into it, starting with Ekitike. So we've seen a price rise for Ekitike already. He's gone up to 8.6 million. Almost 500,000 managers are bringing him in for Game Week 2. To be fair, he did have an amazing first game week. But now looking at the upcoming game weeks, starting with next week with Newcastle away, followed by Arsenal at home, is this the best time to bring Ekitike in, or can we look to bring him in from Game Week 4, for example? Also, what impact will Isak have on Ekitike's minutes? This is just another reason why I always prefer to wait until the transfer window closes to start making some big transfers in my team. So this means we'll have all the information we need from the transfer window by Game Week 4. Another consideration for bringing Ekitike in is which striker are we selling to bring him in? The only one that comes to mind at a reasonable similar price point is Watkins. Of course, Watkins is playing Brentford next, followed by Crystal Palace at home, followed by Everton, followed by Sunderland, followed by Fulham. To me, that looks like a run of fixtures I absolutely want to keep Watkins for. So the only alternative to selling Watkins in for Ekitike this week most likely involves taking a hit, and I absolutely do not recommend that. So in summary, let's keep an eye on Ekitike, the Isak transfer saga, and what's going to happen after Game Week 4. From that point onwards, it's a much better time to bring Ekitike in. Now moving on to Semenyo, who had an amazing first game week with 15 points, scoring 2 goals. Now, looking at Semenyo's upcoming fixtures, he has some amazing ones coming up. So he's got Wolves in Game Week 2, followed by Tottenham, then Brighton, then Newcastle, then Leeds, then Fulham. You can't really go wrong with this transfer. He's got some amazing fixtures coming up and he's bang in form. Only 11.5% of managers have gone for him, so he's still somewhat of a differential pick. I imagine that will change pretty quickly, probably by Game Week 4. I also have my eye on Kluivert, who's 0.1 million less, is on penalties, and as far as reports are concerned, he should be back fairly soon, maybe Game Week 2, maybe Game Week 3. Next, we have Wood, who's also gone up in price. He's now 7.6 million. He played a sensational game, he got 2 goals, and what more can we expect from Chris Wood? Just like last season, he is vastly overachieving on his underlying stats, but that is Chris Wood. He's a clinical finisher. Now, of course, many of us decided not to go for Wood because of other options in attack and also because he didn't score a single goal in preseason. And to be honest, the whole team looked very, very off it in preseason in terms of their attacking contributions. All that remains to be seen for Wood and Nottingham Forest is the impact of the new signings such as Kalimwendo and the others. Will they be taking minutes off of Wood, or is his place absolutely guaranteed and everyone else will come in around him? To be honest, I'm secretly hoping he remains nailed because I absolutely love having him as an asset. He's super consistent, he's on penalties, and if he remains nailed, he's absolutely coming back in my team. We'll make an assessment after Game Week 4 when he plays Arsenal because he's got 2 amazing fixtures in Burnley and Sunderland back-to-back. Then we have Ballard, centre-back for Sunderland. Arguably the biggest surprise of the weekend with their 3-0 win against West Ham. Ballard played an amazing game with a goal line clearance and a goal to seal the win for his team. He scored an amazing header, which is not unusual for him. The only reason Sunderland is in the Premier League is because of a winning header from Ballard from a corner in the 96th minute, I think it was, in the playoffs. He also was a DEFCON machine and got the full 2 DEFCON points. Of course, I'm not suggesting he scores 17 points in every game week, but for 4.5 million, he's absolutely on my radar, and 262,000 managers have already brought him in. However, unless your team is absolutely perfect in the midfield and the strikers, I would look to doing a transfer in one of those 2 sections of the field before you move to the defence, just because there's a higher upside for transferring midfielders and strikers than there is for defenders. Next, we have Reijnders, who's already seen a price rise to 5.6 million. Almost 750,000 managers have already brought him in. It's possible his price rises once more before the Game Week 2 deadline. So it goes without saying that for his price point, Reijnders is an amazing pick. But let's talk about what you should be doing to get him into your team. If it's an easy swap and it's a similar price point, then absolutely go for it. Would I swap out Anderson for Reijnders? Maybe not, especially if the price point doesn't cover you because he's gone up now, Reijnders. The other solution to bring Reijnders in is to do a -4 or a hit. I absolutely do not recommend doing that. I don't think he's that much of an important player that you can start taking hits already in game week 2 just to bring him in. What I loved about Reijnders though was the fact that not only did he get a goal and an assist, he was on the pitch for 90 minutes, and under Pep Guardiola that's pretty much unheard of. Of course, we need to keep an eye on this. He may not be consistently nailed into the team, but at his price point of 5.6 million, Reijnders is easily one of the best players in FPL right now. Next, we have Pedro, who's been transferred out already by almost 500,000 managers. A small part of me loves that because I am betting against him by not having him in my team, and he is extremely highly owned by over 50% of the FPL manager base. But also, let's be reasonable here. He's playing West Ham next game week, and West Ham just conceded 3 goals to Sunderland. So if I had Pedro myself, I would probably keep him at least one more game week. Probably even 2 or 3 game weeks onwards from now, considering he has Fulham after West Ham, and after that he plays Brentford. Also, at 7.5 million, I just can't think of many other strikers I'd want to bring in this place. Unless you moved early for Wood, in which case fair enough. But as I said earlier, Wood might be a risk further down the line. So I don't know if that's the best decision either. But also, Wood's off the table now because he's gone up in price. So unless you have 0.5 sitting in your bank, or you take a hit, which absolutely, again, I don't think you should be doing at this stage of the season, Pedro should probably stay in your team at least one more game week. Next, we have Wirtz, who is sitting heavier and heavier on my team the more I think about him. I really don't know why I brought him in. I knew it was a risk, but having seen him in that first game, I just feel like the sooner I get him out the team, the better. He's now playing Newcastle in game week 2, followed by Arsenal at home. He does have a really good fixture against Burnley in game week 4, but I don't know if I can hold on to him for that long. I should, but I just hate the fact that I don't have any confidence in him bringing me points. But I'll probably do the rational thing and wait until he's played Burnley in game week 4 to make any decisions. Next, I wanted to talk about the Salah versus Haaland debate, which has been very active online in the last couple of days. Let's start by looking at the fixtures. So Salah arguably doesn't have 2 great fixtures coming up, but he does have Burnley in game week 4. Whereas with Haaland, we have to wait until game week 6 until he faces Burnley at home. Let's look at some data now. So Salah's XGI, which is expected goal involvement per 90, last season was 1.25. Haaland's last season was 0.82. That is a significant difference. The other big difference is in effective goals and assists per 90 last season. Salah had 1.05 per 90, whereas Haaland had 0.72 per 90. The other big difference is that Salah was available for every single Premier League game last season, whereas Haaland missed 7 due to injury. Of course, we do have to factor in the fact that Salah will be going to AFCON this year, but that is something we can plan for, and it's not the same as being injured before a game. Now let's look at some projected points for the next 5 game weeks. Salah is on 38.6, Haaland is on 35.2. So to be honest, not that much in it. It's still quite a close call. So if you do have Salah but want to move to Haaland, don't feel panicked. You can probably do it in game week 6 when I'm planning on doing my wildcard or at least a big shift in my squad. In game week 6, we see a big fixture swing for City, and that could be the best time to capitalise on it. I've been playing around with some new drafts, as I'm sure we all have, and I've actually found some decent ways to get Salah and Haaland in the same team. Again, it's not something I would be doing now, certainly not for hits. I don't think I'd be playing my wildcard in game week 2, even if my team was much worse. But for game week 6, it's absolutely something I'm considering. With the emergence of Reijnders and Anderson as enablers, a team with Salah and Haaland might absolutely work. I just wouldn't recommend taking a hit to get there or playing a wild card too soon. There's still a lot of information from the Premier League that we want to see. There's lots of data that we still need to get, so I would not advise doing a wild card until at least game week 4 or 5. And this is more of a general point, but I really don't see the benefit in going for a game week 2 wild card. There's just too much information we still need to see. Regardless of how bad you think your team's doing, it probably isn't doing that bad. Unless, of course, half your players didn't feature in the team, in which case, go for it. But most of us can absolutely wait a bit more before making any big decisions in terms of transfers and wildcards. Okay, that's it for this video. If you found the content useful, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.